All right, folks, so we got a big project in store for us tonight. I'm going to be breaking this whole thing apart and repotting all of these into their own individual pots, sort of based on the plant species, if you will, like the Tradescantia. I'm going to put those. I'm going to put all the Tradescantia in its own pot. This big aloe is going to. I'm going to try to keep these together and put them in their own pot. Um, this aloe, along with the speckled ones over there, I'll probably put those together. And whatever this succulent thing is, I think I'm going to try to give it its own pot too. So yeah, part of the reason why I'm doing this is because this bowl has it's just gotten out of hand. When I bought this, there were way more succulents in here. A good amount of them died. But the ones that did not die, like this aloe and the Tradescantia is not a succulent as far as I know. But regardless, the plants that did well, like whatever this aloe is and the Tradescantia, they've just grown like crazy and it's gotten to the point where it's just a hassle to kind of move this thing around. Watering it's a pain. So yeah, let's see how it looks. All right, so I removed the big mass of soil out of the pot that it was in, or bowl. I never liked this thing because it's just got the one drainage hole and it's not even like centered. That always bothered me. I was always very, very careful about making sure I didn't overwater this, especially because of a lot of the plants in here, like the aloe, the succulents, they really don't like to be overwatered. So I would always wait until it completely dried out, was like completely bone dry before I gave it any of this stuff any water, just because of I was really worried about water accumulating at the bottom and not having like proper drainage. So I already almost dropped this thing once because the soil was just so dry. It just broke off and fell. Hopefully the Tradescantia didn't get too damaged. But yeah, get an idea of what this looks like. Yeah, soil is very, very dry. All right, so I'm working my way through this. I got one aloe vera out. Got this succulent out as well. I'm not sure if I managed to even save any of the roots for that succulent. So uh, I don't know if I killed that or not. I don't know. But all of these aloe right here, you'll notice that the soil their roots are all connected to is shaped like a little planter. It's pretty interesting. All right, I got to keep working through this, working this soil away and salvaging the roots that I can. It's impossible for me to hold my phone um, and remove the soil at the same time. Unfortunately, I just don't have the setup for that just yet. But I'll just show you how it's looking so far. Because there were so many other plants in this bowl at one point, I'm imagining there are going to be like a lot of dead roots, so it's kind of hard to tell, what goes to what, if you know what I mean. All right, so one of the bigger aloes has been successfully removed. And this right here is where things are going to get really complicated because the Tradescantia and this big aloe are right next to each other, and it's pretty difficult for me to tell what roots go to what, but we're just going to keep massaging away at the soil and see what happens. All right, everything is now separated. So yeah, now comes the fun part. Actually, the more frustrating part. And that's actually repotting these and finding pots that will work. I have a pretty good idea of what I'm going to do for the Tradescantia. I think I'm going to go with this spare self-watering pot I've got here. It's just a very like standard size. I don't know, like 4 inches by 4 inches, I would guess, or maybe 5 inches by 5 inches. somewhere along those lines. The big aloe are going to be a little harder because it's like, yeah, the root system could probably fit in something like this. At least both of their roots. Both plants probably could. It's just both of them are so big, they're going to be in each other's way quite a bit. But I think I'm just going to need to make it work. All right, so here we go. I've got the two big aloes and their own separate planters. I decided not to put them together. It was just too much of a hassle. The smaller aloes I put all together in like a small planter. I'm watering them right now. The soil mix that I used is very, very dry, and well draining, so I'm giving this some time to soak up all the soak up the water. And yeah, I decided to put the Tridescantia in leca. This is my first time using leca for any of my houseplants, so we're going to see how that works out. From what I know, Tridescantia does reasonably well in leca, so it's a pretty hardy and tolerant plant, so I'm hoping that this works out well for this. The last thing I want to talk about here is how I don't see myself buying plants that are in those bowls like that again, like where you have like a bunch of different plants all crammed together in one pot or in one bowl, like that sort of situation. I don't really see myself doing that in the future unless it's like a pothos and a parlor palm, or like, I don't know, like two plants, maybe three, definitely not as many as were crammed in that bowl, just because it gets to be it's definitely a pain when you have to repot them, because it's hard to determine like what roots go to what. And also, like, some of the plants in there just didn't do well at all. Like the Tridescantia did well, the bigger aloe plants did well. I don't know the different types of aloe, so I just call them all aloe or all aloe vera. The bigger aloe did well, but like the smaller aloe just did not do well at all. The succulents didn't do well. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if like you got different plants with like different watering needs all put together. So, you know, some of them just use up more of the resources than other plants. Like, I don't know how that works. I just know the bigger plants in there, like the bigger aloe vera and the Tridescantia, did well, while everything else just kind of looked very like withered and weak and just didn't do well at all. And repotting it also was a big pain. Another thing that's like kind of frustrating with situations like that, I'll just pan out here so I'm not just staring at the Tridescantia. With situations like that is like sometimes the plants might have different watering needs. Like Tridescantia are pretty hardy. They can do well drying out and not being watered very often, but I'm fairly certain they prefer to be watered more often than at least aloe and succulents. And so maybe that's what was going on there. Maybe the Tridescantia was just drinking up all the water whenever it was watered, like once every 20 days to a month or so, and the aloe just wasn't getting water at all. I don't know. But yeah, that's where I'm at as far as that goes.